Alright, so we're back again. Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome to my channel. So for those of you who are new, my name is Christiane, otherwise known here as IHeartAirbrush. And today we're going to dive into some eyeshadow. It's been a very long time since I've done an eyeshadow tutorial or how-to. I've done a lot of looks, of course, that are airbrushed eye looks, but I haven't really made a dedicated video on how to do eyeshadow since like 2014 or 2013. I can't even remember, but it was a long time ago. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and make a quickie one for you now. Hopefully that'll help you on your airbrush journey. So if you're interested in learning how to do eyeshadow or just some tips and tricks, maybe you want to better your technique, then please keep watching. Okay, so eyeshadow is fairly simple. Once you get the gist of it, you can kind of run in any direction you want to with it. It's all about lever control and distance. So that being said, let's just go ahead and dive in. Today I'll be using my Dinair Personal Pro system, and I will be using the Dinair CX airbrush. And then I'm going to show you how to apply each different type of shade depending on the kind of eye look that you want to do. So I'll go ahead and show you how to apply a transition shade. I'll show you how to apply the outer corner outer V shade, and then we'll go in and we'll talk about how to apply shades on your lids. So let's get started. So the three shades I'm going to be using today is Light Smoke. We're going to put that in the transition area. Then I'm going to go in with Underground, and we're going to go ahead and apply that to the outer corner, outer V. It's a nice deep color to go ahead and show you and for you to practice with. If you do decide to go ahead and practice this at home, use a dark deep color on the outer corner. And then for the lid, I'm going to go in with Light Bronze. I didn't want something too light because I want you to be able to see exactly what I'm doing and where the color is laying down. Okay, and here are some swatches of the shades we'll be using today. So let's start with the transition. So let's go ahead and zoom you in. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is go ahead and turn on your compressor. Here I'm going to have my compressor dial at 12 o'clock, but you can apply eyeshadow at 10 o'clock if you like. So between 10 and 12 is a pretty ideal place for your dial when you want to go ahead and apply your eyeshadow. So I recommend keeping your dial anywhere between 10 and 12 on your compressor. If you're using the Dinair system, that's the Personal Pro compressor, you want to keep it at 10 and 12 o'clock. Okay, now for the transition color. Now, applying eyeshadow is pretty simple. It's pretty self-explanatory. You want to make sure that you're light on the lever and that you're constantly pumping the lever like so. That's what's going to create the blend on the lid. And you want to build lightly, pumping that lever, and then continue to increase the density of the shade if you want it to be darker, more apparent, just by getting closer. So it's really all about distance. When you pull further away from the eye, about 2 inches is ideal, then you're going to get a nice open spray, and that's when you want to go ahead and pull lightly back on the lever. Take really small amounts of pigment at a time and then work on filling. If you want something that is more like a defined line, say you're doing a cut crease kind of look, or you're applying dense pigment to the mid lid, you want to get in closer. I'd recommend maybe about an inch, maybe even closer to like a ½ an inch, but no closer than that, to go ahead and fill in the color. And once again, you just want to go ahead and pull lightly back on the lever, just pumping the lever like so, or rocking it and filling in that color just gently. Okay, try not to stay in one place when you're releasing the pigment. Make sure that you keep moving as you're pulling back on the lever. Okay, movement and the lever and your distance, that's going to be key. So here I'm going to take Light Smoke, and I'm going to use 2 drops just to make sure that I have more than enough. I'm going to test my spray out on a tissue. Always test it out on a tissue. Okay, you want to make sure that your airbrush is spraying properly, and if it's well maintained, then you don't have anything to worry about, but still always test it out. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is apply it to the transition crease area. Now to reveal where my natural crease is, because that's not the same as the fold on my lid, I like to just kind of tilt my head back, and it really makes that socket space more pronounced. So now that I know where I'm going to go ahead and apply color, I'm just going to go ahead and go in. I'm about an inch away. I'm just going to lightly rock the lever, and hopefully you can see the color start to come on. See, I'm spurting a little. Don't worry, sometimes you'll spurt. You get that nice wash of color when you do it lightly. Now if I wanted to go more dense, I would just continue to move and add more layers to increase the density of the shade. Okay, do the other side here. Okay, light pulls on the lever, as you can see. Watch my finger. Just rocking the lever, going back and forth. Filling in that color nice and lightly, as you can see. Boom, boom. Transition shade is laid down nice and even. Okay, so next I'm going to go in with the outer corner outer V, and for that I'm going to be using Underground. It's a nice deep shade. Now when you're applying color in the outer V, you have the option of freehanding it, or you have the option of using a stencil. So I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like when you freehand it. You're going to get a more smokier effect. And then when you do it with the stencil as a guideline there, you're going to get like a sharp, almost faux wing going on with your shadow. So this side I'll do freehand, and here you just want to make sure, like if you get in real close, you can see where the air is hitting the lid. Can you see that? That's where the color is going to land. So now that I know where the color is going to land, I'm just going to kind of pull out further, about 2 inches away, and I'm just going to lightly pull back on my lever, little spurts, and start to deepen that color. You want to make sure that you start really light on the lever when using a shade like this, just because it's easier to add more than it is to take away of a darker shade, okay? So, okay, let's go ahead. Fix the density there. You can already see there's some lag with my airbrush here. So because there's some lag, I'm not going to continue on using this one for the sake of time. I'm just going to swap it out for my other airbrushes because I have a bunch that are clean. So I'm just going to take another drop of that Underground. There we go. And then to freehand, you just want to make sure you're keeping that distance, and then rock your lever. There we go. Nice and deep, but still soft and blended. Okay, now for the other side, I'm going to be using the Shadow Shield. And you can pretty much use any stencil that has a curved end. Like if you want to use the airliner stencil, you can use the curved end of that. You can use the curved end of the brow stencils if you have stencils from Dinair, or you can use the Shadow Shield. So I'm just going to go ahead and line the Shadow Shield up here. Okay, with my lower lash line like so. And then I'm going to spray the shield first, and then start to move toward the outer V and outer corner. Okay. Alright, so you get that same fill, only now with the sharp edge. So this is what it's like when you freehand it, and this is what it's like when you use the stencil as your edge. Okay, both ways are pretty. I personally, when I'm going for more natural looks, like to go this route, especially if I'm not going to use a liner. I kind of like to go this route. If I am going to use a liner, I kind of like to go this route. It all depends on you and your preference and what your personal style is. So now I'm just going to go ahead and make this one sharp like the other. Real easy to do, and voila. Okay, as you can see, I'm always really light on my lever. And then when you use the stencil and you're like done with that initial outline, you can go in and fill in like the natural fold, the crease area, take it more in on the outer corner of the lid, because now you have that initial outline already set. Okay, so don't be scared, just stay really light on the lever. If your airbrush is well maintained, being this light on the lever will release small amounts of pigment. If you're finding that you're hearing like a kind of sound, then your nozzle is probably clogged up with something, and your airbrush needs a little bit of maintenance. So don't try to do the air shadow if your airbrush is not spraying smoothly. That's what testing out on the tissue kind of helps you kind of see, not only the color, but it also helps you to see if your airbrush is spraying smoothly. So like here, this is a smooth spray. I'm just very lightly pulling back, like you can see, and there's color being released. Okay, that's how I know it's good enough to do a well blended air shadow. Okay, so now for the lid, when you're applying air shadow on the lid, you always want to make sure to kind of gently tug the skin here, or you can gently pinch the nose here, and what that's going to do is kind of pull the skin taut so that you're not going to get any crease lines. So I'm just going to go ahead and just slightly pull, and then I'm going to take my shade here, I'm about an inch away, I'm going to do light pulls back on the lever, raising my brows, trying to get as smooth of a surface as I can. Light pumps on the lever on the inner corner, and then I'm just going to go ahead and start blending out. Okay, and as you can see, it's always light pumps on the lever. Okay, that's how I'm getting the fill and the blend at the same time. Staying close to my eyelid is going to give me a more opaque fill. Moving further away is going to give me a more diffused fill, okay? So I want a more opaque fill, so I'm going to be about 1 inch away. Definitely less than 2 inches. I'm just going to keep on moving. No hot spots, and there you go. Okay, nice, beautifully blended fill all the way from the lash line to the transition. Okay, let's do this side. So now I'm just going to pull it taut here, raise the brows, light spurts on the lever. You can even count how many times you pull back if you are meticulous. Sometimes I do that when I'm doing airbrush on another person. That way I'm doing the same amount to one side as I am the other. Okay, and then just fill, fill, fill. As you can see, light spurts on the lever. Getting that blend about 1 inch away, getting that concentrated pigment, and there we go. And then use the air to dry. Always use the air to dry. Stretch the skin, use the air to dry before you relax the eye, especially if you have a little bit more skin on the lid like I do. I have to wait a good amount of time because, as you can see, my natural folds over pretty far. So you want to make sure that the makeup is completely dry, and it doesn't take long with Dinair. Dinair sets super fast, if not exactly on contact. So you just want to make sure that it's all set and everything before you relax the lid like so. Okay, and that's really all there is to it. To do the under eye area, if you wanted to go ahead and smoke that out with some color, you can do what you've seen me do in all of my tutorials, which is just kind of feel. So you close your eye and then you kind of just feel where your lower lash line is. And I like to spray up under the lashes like so. Okay, and that gives me a nice diffused line. Or you can take the shadow shield, and there's 2 ways to apply using the shield. So one way is like this, where you kind of just cover the opening of the eye and you spray like so, the edge of the stencil. Okay, that works really good when you're applying it on another person. Or you could do it the other way, where you line the stencil up with the lower lash line to create a harsher line. Lay the stencil flatter to create a more diffused line. Kind of raise the stencil up just a hair. And then spray the edge of the stencil like so. Best to do it with the eyes closed until you get used to it. I'm pretty used to it already. But as you can see, that gave me a nice color for the lower lash line. Okay. So there you have it. So this way, freehand, a little bit messier, you know, if you want a little bit more of a cleaner look, you can go ahead and clean that up. And then do it this way, protect, and you're good. Now if you make the line too sharp, okay, and you want to diffuse it a little bit, take a Q-tip and then just run it, just very lightly scrape the surface of the line, and that'll diffuse it right up. I recommend to you, if you're not familiar with doing airshadow, to do your airshadow first, clean anything that you need to clean up, sharpen the outer edge that you need to sharpen, and then go in and do your makeup after, the foundation after. Okay, so now that the airshadow demo is done, I'm going to go ahead and do my airliner off camera, and then we gonna regroup, girl, and wrap up this video. Alright, so now that I have my airliner all good and set, and my eyes are finally finished, yeah, girl, that's about it for this video. So I hope this video was helpful for you. If you still have any questions, concerns, or comments, please feel free to put them in the comment box below. And as far as the fundamentals go, distance and lever control are going to be your best friend when doing airshadow, just because the distance really accounts for the spray and what the blend is going to look like. And then your lever control pretty much gives you the perfect amount of pigment that you can build on to get whatever look you're trying to get. So if you have those two things in mind and you're constantly practicing them, then you will definitely be able to do whatever your heart desires as far as eyeshadow or any other airbrush application technique, because really distance and lever control are the fundamentals to airbrush makeup in general, or even airbrush application in general. So once you master those two things and once you have a very good grasp on those two concepts, then you can pretty much do anything that you can do with a brush with an airbrush. So yeah. Once again, I hope this video was helpful. If you still have any questions or concerns, once again, put them in the comment box below, because I'd love to help you through your journey in any way that I can. And if I need to make more videos like this, that also lets me know as well. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Also, if you found it helpful or even just entertaining, because you know that helps me a ton. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel. So if you choose to subscribe today, or if you're already subscribed, do not forget to hit that little bell icon right next to the subscribe button and turn your notifications on. That way you get the quickest updates whenever I upload a video. Or you'll get quicker updates, because YouTube is constantly changing things around, so it's making it harder for smaller YouTubers like myself to have my content featured on your channel as soon as I upload. So just make sure that you're kind of checking it out. Make sure you have your notifications on, and you should see me once a week. Okay. Anyways, thank you again so much for watching, and stay tuned for my next video, because it is going to be another how-to video as well. All right, I love you guys, and I hope to see you all in my next one.